Well, that just happened. Olympic gold medalist in men's and women's hockey. Mac, what the fuck is up, buddy?
Dude, I am still riding that high. Just can't even believe what we witnessed over the last several days over the weekend. It is a good day to be a USA hockey fan, a good weekend to be a USA hockey fan. We did the damn thing, and it feels fucking good.
Absolutely. We have a lot to get to. I'm sure you guys are, well, depending on where you're from, you're either really eager to hear from us or you probably unfollowed us on everything and never want to hear from us ever again. I do want to give a shout out to our Canadian fans and our Canadian listeners. We feel your pain because we've been in this exact situation before, Mac and I specifically going back to 2010. So been there, done that while you won it at home in your perfect little Sidney Crosby world. So, I feel for you, but no, we're going to enjoy this one.
Yeah. Also, I mean, they had 5-on-5 overtime back then. Why can't we do it? Why can't we still do that now,
Yeah, that is interesting.
Was that maybe 4-on-4 back then? Or
I don't know if that was 4-on-4 or if it was 5-on-5. I can't remember.
Well, either way, better. I will give the Canadian fans who were all bitching about 3v3, I'll give you that. But John Cooper said it best, and we'll get into more of this in a bit, but he said it best. He's like, while I agree with, 3-on-3 is no way to end a fucking Olympic gold medal game, we all knew the rules coming into this tournament.
Yeah, and everyone had the same one, so
yeah,
it is what it is.
It's not an excuse.
Lot to get into, though. I do want to start with the women's. That did happen earlier than the men, so I do want to start with the women's gold medal game. Yeah. I believe last time we spoke, we knew this was going to be the gold medal matchup. Unfortunately, we didn't have a chance to record right after their game, but, right after that, and things were rolling, so we wanted to save it for one big episode. But the USA women bring home their third gold medal in the Olympics in women's hockey since that event has started. So they've got golds now in 98, which was the first one, 2018, which I think we remember pretty well, and then now 2026, which is awesome. They take down the Canadian women 2-1 in overtime. That is now the most watched women's hockey game of all time. So it's awesome that we've been doing this show for as long as we have, and we've gotten to say that at least 3 or 4 times throughout the process of the show. That's been really, really cool. But U.S. heavy favorites going into this game. I think a lot of the, talk was focused on the fact that they had swept the Canadian women in the rivalry series on the run up to these games and then blanked them 5-0 in a round robin game prior to the medal stage. Now, I understand that was without Canada's best player and probably the greatest female hockey player to ever play in Marie-Philippe Poulin. So, she's obviously back for this game. They obviously came out with a huge push. They take the lead early in this one. What are your thoughts when the U.S. goes down 1-0 on a shorthanded goal there against the Canadians?
Well, I remember texting my sister right when that goal went in, and I think I just said, fuck. And she was like, oh, a lot of hockey left. And obviously there was, but something about that, it really felt like that could be all it was going to take. Like it felt early on like it could be a 1-0 final score or something, just with how tight they were playing. And it damn near was. So like I knew when that went in that, we were going to have to work pretty hard to get that one back. And we did. And it was great to see how it happened. But yeah, they had never trailed at that point too. So it's
correct.
All of a sudden you got a little adversity there. And credit to the Canadian team, because we pushed hard for like the entire game after that. And it was almost like the opposite of the men's game, where it's like we were just freaking peppering them and nothing would go in until it finally did. So
yeah, it was insane. That's Kristen O'Neill that got the goal shorthanded. Kind of got a little bit of help with the bounce off the glass, but again, like you were saying about the overtime rules, everyone's playing with the same glass, so it is what it is. I thought the U.S. team did a great job of just not panicking. So much of this talk was with this matchup, the U.S. going with youth, the Canadians going with experience. I think that was really what set the tone in this game. You had the Canadian women be like, okay, we're coming into this game, all the hype's on them. Let them worry about that. This is how we're going to go out there and frustrate them. And they did that for essentially 58 minutes until Hillary Knight ties the game up with just over 2 to go. So, not only is that probably one of the biggest goals in U.S. hockey, I feel like it's going to be one of the ones that gets overlooked just because of how everything has unfolded over these last couple days here. But Yeah, she sets the record there for Olympic goals and points by an American woman. So that's fantastic to see. And just, I loved the way that team just dug in, didn't panic, went back to basics, got the right people on the ice, set it up, zone time. Layla Edwards, ton of like patience and poise with that point shot to delay a little bit, get the right angle, get the tip for Hillary. So, I mean, that was just incredible.
Yeah, I also, two things I want to say. Number one, with Hillary being mic'd up, and then
Yes.
when her skate back to the bench and she just goes, "Come on, Blue!"
Yep.
That is so fucking awesome. And then the other thing is like how close. Think about how close we came to this U.S. women's team allowing 2 goals the entire tournament and
Yeah.
not coming home with the gold medal. Like,
Right.
that's just unfathomable. If at the beginning of the tournament you said you guys are going to let in 2 goals, you're coming home with silver. Like, how in the
Absolutely.
fucking world? But we're 2 minutes away from that being the reality. So that's just unbelievable to think about.
Yeah, I was, obviously they tie it up and you're relieved, you're excited, you're like, oh my God, now we're going to overtime. And at that point, it wasn't like, oh, good, we're going to go over to overtime and win this thing now. I think for me, I was a little bit more like, okay, so now anything can happen. Now you have, we have Erin Frankel, who stood on her head that entire game and deserves all the credit in the world. Then at the other end, you have Anne-Marie Desbiens, who arguably played an even better game, keeping the Canadian women in that down the stretch. Canada's got, MPP, Captain Clutch, to go out there and, just bust open something magical. But it ends up being an unreal play by Taylor Heisey, getting it up to Megan Keller, who as a defense, just tries to take a flyer on this one, make a move. And oh my God, what a move it was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think about the 2 golden goals and like which one was like sicker or like which one was like more hype. I might have to give it to the women. The way
I agree.
The way that play went in, the pass from all the way behind your own net during the recognize the Canadian change happening, making that pass. The dangle was fucking insane, and then also just her route back to the bench.
Yes.
Was so sick too, like around the net, and then you're just coming straight back. And it was perfect in every single way.
No, it's such a great play. I think both setups on the golden goals too aren't going to get talked about enough. Of course, is that that's how it always is. But I think if Heisey's pass is off by a little bit, Keller doesn't try and make that move and doesn't try and go in and pull that move on Desbiens. So just an unreal play there by both of them. Great heads up play and just great awareness the whole time. I mean, 3-on-3 overtime for a gold medal is just about the most stressed out I've ever been in my entire life. Like, sat through a Stanley Cup final, like with the clock counting down, even 2018 when the clock in the arena goes out against the Golden Knights and the Caps,
insane.
And like you're just waiting for the bullshit to happen. It's just it's one of those things that you'll never forget where you were or what you were doing when you watched that game. And I remember thinking about that when we got the U.S.-Canada matchup for the gold medal game. I was like, okay, we're getting at least one of the 2 dream matchups here. This, I think, it definitely more so on the women's side. Like, you kind of figured that one was coming just with how strong those 2 teams were. They just seemed to be on a collision course for each other the entire time. But, unbelievable tournament altogether for the women. They played fantastic. Just some, I think, people that deserve a shout out here. I mentioned Erin Frankel standing on her head. Unbelievable. Megan Keller obviously getting the winner. Caroline Harvey leading the tournament and scoring, absolutely deservedly. She did win tournament MVP, correct?
Yeah, she did.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, well deserved. And then I thought just a couple, defensive plays off the puck by Abby Murphy in that gold medal game. One back check in particular.
Yep.
The one I'm talking about, to shut down the quasi breakaway and just in one of the cleanest defensive plays I've ever seen. I don't want to hear hook. I don't want to hear trip. I don't want to hear slash.
She did everything she could possibly do without taking a penalty.
Exactly. Like, I mean, that's a textbook youth hockey coach, video teaching moment for sure. Like, everything she did in that play was
stick on stick, body on body. Perfect.
Absolutely nails of just a human being too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just was an absolute staple gun the entire game, running into people, running people over.
I love how much like firepower she plays with, and just like getting in people's face and like not being afraid to like kind of stir the pot a little bit. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Going back to what I was saying a little bit earlier about, experience versus youth here, the Canadian team, none of their players were in college. The American team had 7 women in college. And I think that just shows not only what's to come for USA Hockey, but what this group has going right now. And I think that's just truly something special. I think it's just a testament to what USA Hockey has done as a whole. I know the last 2 episodes we've talked about the women's development and how far ahead it is of everyone else. But I think top to bottom, both with the men and the women these last couple of days, it just shows what a powerhouse this organization has built itself into.
Yeah, well said. But yeah, without a doubt, the future is very bright.
Yeah. If you had to pick a favorite moment from the women's tournament, does anyone stand out to you? Is it hard to top the golden goal?
It's probably got to be the golden goal. I mean, a lot. Yeah, I mean, all those other games, just seeing us walk everybody was awesome. But the way we responded to the adversity and tying that game, honestly, I might even pick the Hillary Knight tying goal. Like that was so hype. The way I felt when that went in, like I was so fired up, and almost felt like we're gonna win this game now. Like
yeah.
So yeah, I might even say Hillary's goal.
That one, it's just, in the way they won gold, it's like with her setting the record. I mean, you could not have written
Yeah, and then they told her and she was like, oh shit, really?
Yeah, like you just couldn't have made that up. You couldn't have written that into a script any better than the way it happened. So just an unbelievable moment there for the women. So happy for women's hockey, so happy for USA Hockey, and just, loved seeing not only the support that they got from, the men's team and everyone else involved, all the NHL guys that were in attendance to watch that game. We saw the Hughes brothers were in attendance to watch that game. Obviously, their mom being, director of player development, I think, with the women's team. So it was just fantastic to see all together. And, hopefully that just continues to grow. And I think the one thing I think we'd all like to see a little bit more is maybe the rest of the Olympic teams on the women's side sort of start to catch up a little bit, which I have all the confidence in the world that we will see in the next 4 to 8 years.
It will. Did you see the Hughes brothers and Tom Brady thing that happened?
Yes.
That's awesome. I love that so much. Them being like, okay, fine, we'll come meet you, but we're watching the game right now. We'll come up in a little bit, bro.
It's like you're cool, but like we're kind of doing something right now. So
very cool.
No, that was fantastic. Anything else before we move on to the men's side of things?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Before we do that, we're just going to take a quick break to talk about DraftKings, and we'll talk about the men's stuff in a second here.
DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is built for the fastest game on ice. With player props and live betting, every shift, every shot, every save gives you options to get in on the game with DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers, bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
All right. They did the damn thing. Finally did it. 46 years after the last time. The miracle. 1980. We don't have to talk about this anymore. We're finally past that. The United States men defeat Canada in overtime 2-1 to win the gold medal. So what I was saying about the women's side of things, I was like, this is a perfect story. You could not have written a better script, blah, 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 whatever. And then this day comes around, and everything involved with this game happens the way it happens. On the anniversary of beating the Russians in the Miracle on Ice, this game happens. I mean, part of me was worried that kind of noise and nonsense going into it was just going to be too much, but clearly not. And, everything that just happened to this day was crazy to me. I mean, trying to write these notes and run it back, even though it was only 24 hours ago, it took me about an hour, 2 hours just to get everything out of my head. But the first thing I remember from this day is waking up very early, obviously, and then looking at my phone and seeing that Sidney Crosby is not playing in this game. And so 2 thoughts go through my head. One, wow, he's really hurt. Really hurt to not play in a gold medal game. That's a huge deal. 2, all Coop has to do is walk into that room and go, don't you dare fuck this up for Sid. And that team's just going to play like superhumans. And I was fully expecting that to happen. And they kind of did.
Yeah, I had the same thought, and they did, and they even mentioned that like afterwards, like we were all trying to do this thing for Sydney, and I still can't believe the amount of times we cheated death in that game.
Oh my God.
And, like, there was half a dozen times where I'm watching and I think I'm watching the puck go into the net.
Yes.
And then somehow it's going the other way and somebody picks it up and it's out of danger. And I'm like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So what was your setup for watching this game? You know, did you go out somewhere? Were you just like taking it easy, wanted like the TV and the couch to yourself? Or
yeah, so
how did that go?
This was kind of unique, the way I ended up taking this game in. So we do every year, sometimes twice a year, but always once a year, me and like all my best like college guy friends, we go to South Haven, Michigan. We just do like a little like woods weekend, a lot of hiking, a lot of fires, a lot of drinking, you know, you can imagine. And so that just happened. We plan these things like months in advance. And so this year's trip was this past weekend. And when I realized like a week ago, I texted them and I was like, boy, and like, there's like one other like diehard hockey fan in that group with me. And then there's like 2 or 3 like casual hockey fans, and the rest of them just don't know anything about hockey. But I texted them and I was like, boys, like this is happening. Like and then I texted them again, like after we beat Sweden, and I was like, oh, like we're going to probably have to watch this game at like 8 a.m. on the final day of the trip.
Right.
So that's what it came to. And, credit to all the fellas there. 'Cause, I mean, obviously I was the one there that gave the most shit about this game. But they all humored me. I didn't like go knocking on doors and wake everybody up, but I told everyone the night before, and it was a late night, as you can imagine. I was like, listen, I'm not going to like be trying to be quiet during this game. Like I'm going to turn the TV on. I'm going to crank up the volume because I want to hear the fucking broadcast.
Correct.
And like I'm going to be yelling, hooting, and hollering. So you know, if you don't want to hear it, if you need to sleep, put some headphones in, whatever you got to do, but I'm going to be down there and getting rowdy. And so I think like 4 of us were there for puck drop, and then like 2 more like kind of rolled in halfway through the first period.
Okay.
We're like, oh, I heard you guys down here. I was like, all right, I'll get up, fine. So made some Irish coffees. By the time the third period was gone, we were all just like, we just got to get back on beer at this point. Like,
Yeah.
I can't not have, like, I need something to nervously sip watching this shit. But they all afterwards were like, dude, that was like the greatest hockey game I've ever watched. Like, especially some of the guys who just don't watch at all. One of them was like, he's like, is it always like this? He's like,
No.
is this just what hockey's like? And I was like, not really, dude, but I'm glad you got to get a good introduction to the sport. But yeah, it was a fun experience to watch with them. I was a little FOMO about Elwoods back in Milwaukee. A couple of my buddies back here did wake up which it was 7 a.m. here.
Right.
And showed up to Elwoods at like 6:45 in the morning. And I thought, like, we were texting them, like, what's the vibe at Elwoods? Are the 5 of you guys like the only people in here? And
packed.
And they were like, no, dude, there's no room to even exist in here right now at 7 a.m. So very cool to see that.
No, it is wild, man. To go back to what you said about, is it always like this? No, it is not. The best tweet I've seen in like the last 24 hours has been like, imagine going from that game like last night and now turning on the Washington Capitals against the Philadelphia Flyers on Wednesday.
Yeah, literally.
Like,
somebody was like, and now you have to go play in quotes the Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah, no,
like,
exactly.
What the fuck?
I totally agree though. Like, if you start with like Irish coffees, I may or may not have started that day with a little espresso martini or something. I didn't want a second one, not because I didn't need the drink during the game, but if I have any more caffeine at that point, I'm going to vibrate.
That was
every
my
hair
thing
in my
too.
body
I couldn't
off.
have more coffee, but I was like, I can't just like go. Like, I can't have another one of these, but I don't think I can just switch to like water right now. Like, I'm just too like tired. I'm like, so I just had to keep it going. But
that's, I think, since Game 5 of the 2018 Stanley Cup Final, hands down the most like wired I've ever been for a sporting event.
Yes.
Like the 12 hours prior to that game starting.
Yeah.
I just was not even present in my own body. I was just solely focused on that. Like I was in Baltimore. I went to see a couple friends' bands play. One at Don't Know, R.I.P. on closing weekend.
Yep.
And then one over at Cat's Eye. And like, yeah, hey, had a couple beers. It was fun. But like, I was just a shell of a human being.
Yeah.
Definitely like pacing for sure. Like getting ready to go to bed that night.
Yeah.
I probably checked to see if my alarm was set like 4,000 times.
Did you do the thing? I woke up at like 4 thinking it was like time, and I was like, shit.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, okay.
Or like wake up, check the phone, 4:30. All right, I got this amount of time. Back to bed. Wake up, 5:30. Same thing. Back to bed. Like, yeah.
Or I'd be like, okay, now it has to have just been like 2 more hours. I check. It's been like 15 minutes since I checked my phone the last time. I'm like, oh, okay, fuck. And the night before, I kept like we were all, like I said, around the campfire the night before, still hanging out and drinking pretty late. And I just said to my one friend, I was like, dude, I need this puck to just drop like now. Like I'd almost rather it have been like 4 a.m. at that point, puck drop, than like 8 a.m. Because I was like, how the fuck?
Like I just need to rip this.
I would have rather just like stay up for it, but 8 a.m. is like too far to just fucking stay all the way up. Like
if it started at 5 a.m. your time, would you have stayed up?
Definitely. I think that's the exact like latest. Like anything 6 or after, I probably would have been like, I can't do it.
No.
But 5 would have been like doable because we were probably up until like at least 1, and then I was, like you said, couldn't sleep anyway in my bed until I like probably fell asleep like 2:30, something like that. So
right. No, dude, it was insane. I had a bunch of people were like, do you want to like watch at like a bar or something? And like, I always appreciate those, but this was just one where I was like, I want to be, either by myself. I ended up staying at my girlfriend's that night. I was like, I just want to be by myself on the couch in front of a TV. I like you said, I want to be able to hear the broadcast. Like if we watch at a bar, you can never hear it, or it's, someone's trying to talk to you, or, people walking in front of the TV or something. And I love doing watch parties for games and stuff, but I was like, this one, I just want to check out, be a little bit crazy on my own and have a couple pops and watch the boys. But, going back to, again, what your buddy asked you about, is it always like this? That is without a doubt, 1, the best hockey game I've ever seen played. 2, the best hockey I've ever seen played. That was the fastest and highest level of hockey I have ever watched in my entire life. And I thought Brian Boucher did a great job of trying to put it into perspective for people. He's like, I've seen Game 7 Stanley Cup Final. He's like, it's not even close to that.
Well, he made a great point about how, like, in Stanley Cup Final, Game 7 or, whatever, you're watching a bunch of teams who have played 82 games, who have played a dozen plus playoff games, and who are almost all injured in some way, dinged up, whatever it is. And so, it's like intense, and everyone wants to win real bad, but like, it's not like the fastest, clean, like there's some slop to it for sure. There's some mistakes. There's some sluggishness at times. There's, you're seeing guys try and drain the gas tank when it's almost on empty, basically.
Right.
And here people are in mid-season form because it's literally mid-season. It's like everybody's in peak shape. Most people are not injured unless they just happen to have gotten injured like first half of the season. But it's just that's the fastest, most physical hockey you'll ever see.
Yeah, absolutely. And those guys went for it too. I know that NHL teams were worried about their players getting hurt. These guys were like, I don't care. I'm going to go out there and put everything on the line for it. And I think that's something that we've been missing from Olympic hockey for the last 10, 16 years, whatever the hell it was. But unreal start by the U.S. I thought we came out really, really good in that game.
That first shift, I was like, holy fuck.
Oh my God.
I was like, we might fucking win this game 10-0 if we play like that.
Couple great looks. They end up getting the lead 6 minutes in. Matt Boldy with one of the greatest goals U.S. hockey will ever see. And again, gonna get overshadowed by everything else that happened that weekend.
But I want to split like the best D pairing in the world, basically.
So I wanted to break that down with you. So not only does he like bat the puck to himself, go two guys, deep, and then beat the goaltender, but the two guys he splits are Canada's top pair. And have been for the last, 3 years, 4 years?
Yeah.
Devon Toews, Cale Makar. Cale Makar, everyone says, best defenseman on the planet.
Right.
Not on that play.
Yeah, I have two things I want to say about that play, and they're not the most obvious things. Obviously, the hand-eye coordination, batting it out of midair, awesome. Number one, when it lands, Toews is actually, in a better position to get to that puck first. And Boldy makes the play to put his stick over top of his stick.
Right.
And then use his arm to body him out and get to that puck first. So that play, if you watch it in slow-mo, watch their sticks at that last second, and there's just a 100 IQ play, 1,000 IQ play, whatever, that Boldy makes right there. And then the last thing, normally that play, when you're looking to beat a goaltender from that spot in that situation, you're almost always trying to do that thing where you're just going to slide it to through his 5-hole as the goalie's going side to side. He purposely realizes that Binnington has already slid far enough, and he's got the 5-hole covered because the pad is past where he's going to be able to put it 5-hole. So to realize all of this in real time and slide it short side in that little crevice he had available. I mean, the whole thing is just some of the smartest decision making in that lickety split second that he had to think. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking just another example of how the men's and women's gold medal games are mirroring each other. It's almost the same move that Megan Keller pulled off for the gold medal winning goal.
Yeah, it is.
Which is just hilarious. But I thought Matt Boldy had a fantastic tournament. He is such an important player to USA Hockey. I don't think a lot of people realize that. Anytime I watch him play, I'm like, this is just Kevin Hayes with elite level skill. I mean, he's so physical. He has such a great nose for the puck, loves going to the net. I mean, whether it's, he's basically a 1-in-1 player every game, 1 goal, 1 assist. I think he's got 30 and 32 for the Wild this year or something like that. So, I mean, credit to Billy G for putting that guy on the roster. I know we had some criticisms about the roster, which we'll get to in a little bit, but I mean, that's a home run move for sure.
Absolutely.
Following that goal, Canada really ramps up the pace. They basically start doubling up the USA on shots. I want to talk about the 5-on-3 kill. That is 5-on-3 against the Canadian roster for a minute and 45 seconds, just about.
Yeah.
So it's a 5-on-3 for a minute and 45 seconds against probably the greatest power play to ever exist. That just, just without Sid, because Sid was hurt. But it's such a great kill. It really just showed how much that PK was important to the tournament. I know you and I had some criticisms about JT Miller being selected for this roster, but for the PK to not let up a single goal all tournament is just that is a mind-blowing stat when you consider the teams they played against here.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I will say, I thought Miller, and especially I thought Trocheck was really good. He won a ton of important face-offs this tournament. So,
yeah, absolutely. What are your thoughts when Makar ties it late in the second period?
At that point, I'm starting to think that this is going to turn into like a 3-1 game or a 4-1 game, and we're just going to lose. They had all the momentum. They finally cracked Helly, and they cracked him early enough that I was like, oh, now they might be able to open the floodgates a little bit. So, yeah, things felt really bad at that point to me.
Yeah, I think in sort of a similar line of thinking, I was like, okay, it would have been great to get through that period 1 goal up. Exactly. I knew that easily in that third period, their man advantage was easily going to get 1, maybe 2 more kicks at the can there. So you just knew another big push was coming there. And I was just hopeful that Hellebuck could stand on his head, which, I mean, he absolutely did. I mean, the saves he made, I mean, he stops McDavid on a breakaway. He stops Macklin Celebrini with 2 grade A high slot chances. Yep. And then he makes the save, what will now be referred to as the save on Devon Taves, Holtby style, reaching back with the paddle. What was your reaction to that? Were you just going bananas, or were you about to throw up like I was?
I was just kind of like jaw on the floor. I mean, my that's especially when some of my like lesser hockey knowledge folks were like, they were like, what are like, they're like, what, how, what did he even do to make, like, no one could understand. Like, every time they showed that replay, they're like, I still don't understand what I'm looking at. Like, how did he do that?
It's one of two replays from this game where every time I see it, I'm like, that puck is going into the net.
Yeah. How about the I don't think anyone's talking about this one enough. The Charlie McAvoy play in the crease. Yeah. That puck is up and over everyone else, and he just like finds it in the palms of his hands and just like scoops it
just
back.
Just like rabbit punches it away.
Like that's going right in the net, and he's standing there
play.
behind. It's the last line of defense. So
I loved the tournament he had. I mean, throwing big hits at any time. I loved how much those guys dug in for Helly.
Yeah.
You know, the defense for the U.S. team was amazing, but you could see on that play specifically, like they're just throwing their bodies at the net, like just get anything in front of this puck to stop this team from scoring, and they did it.
I gotta say, this tournament kind of made me become a McAvoy truther. I've always been a little like, okay, he's good, but is he as good as like everyone says, or is it just that he's like the best defenseman on the Bruins and they're not that good these days or whatever? But no, I am totally wrong. He's a fantastic player, and I loved getting to see like his actual game when he plays on a roster with lots of other defenders that like can hold their own defensively. He has the ability then to like go and hit people and do other stuff that he, usually has to be a little bit more responsible when he's on the Bruins. Right. But yeah, that was fantastic. I thought he had a great tournament.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. It's also just so cool that, I know they talked about it a lot on the broadcast, but that Mike Sullivan, the head coach, is his father-in-law. I can't imagine.
I know. Just like at like Thanksgiving dinner next year, like, yeah, they'll just be like, hey, pass me the fucking potatoes. Like, yeah. Meanwhile, you guys won a fucking gold medal the hard way.
This week
like,
are going to go back to hating each other.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, it's so funny. The other, I said there are two replays where every time I see it, I think the puck is going to go in the net. The Taves one for sure. The other one is the Nathan MacKinnon one. So your thoughts on that, what just happened there?
That one was so obvious that when you're watching a game, you see a grade A chance about to happen for the team that you're rooting against, and then you see the puck go in the net. And what your body, what your heart does in that moment is it rises up, your heartbeat rises up, and you're like, oh shit. And then it drops down because you're like, oh fuck, it went in. Like it's just this up and then straight down thing because you realize the play is over. What you didn't want to happen happened. I felt all of that on that play. Yeah. I literally felt the relief of like, shit, it went in. All right, we're losing. Let's figure this out. Like I was already in that moment. And then I had to like rub my eyes and like look at the TV again to be like, that didn't go in. What the fuck?
Like all the goals that guy has put in from all these crazy different places with his crazy different shots. And that's the one that just doesn't go. I mean, I totally echo everything you said. You feel that like elevator just plummet to the ground level of like your emotion. But I was watching it. I saw it and I literally just went, I was like, fuck, that's it. And then I was like, oh my God, he missed. Like, I just could not believe what I was watching. So, I mean, I know that's hockey. Sometimes sometimes you heal them, sometimes you pull them. Like, it's one of those things, but that is going to be one that's seen for a while for sure. That was with I think that was like halfway through the third, just about.
Yeah, maybe even a little more. I feel like there might have been sub 10 minutes on the kind where it was like, if this goes in, it might be wraps.
Yeah, I was like, I just don't see enough time and momentum to get back into it.
And we weren't doing anything. We were just holding on. Like we had no pressure, no chances going. So it felt like if this goes in, like we're not going to fucking be able to win this.
No, and it gets to about 7 or 6-ish minutes to go, and then Jack Hughes gets whapped in the face, loses his teeth, takes a 4-minute power play. I was so fired up. I was like, okay, they're gonna get a shot here. Yeah. Like just try and get some good looks here. It was not necessarily the best power play by any means.
No.
They spent a lot of time chasing that puck down at the other end. And I know they got a couple, looks here and there. I don't think it was the way they wanted that power play to go.
No.
Obviously, Jack ends up taking a penalty at the tail end of it. And that's when I was just like, oh no, here it comes.
Yep. That's what I thought also. I was like, okay, now we're fucked.
Yeah, so another amazing kill by the PK there. They did a great job to, survive that, what was it, like 40 seconds of 4-on-4, and then just dig in for the last little bit against that, elite level Canadian power play. Goes to overtime. How are you feeling going into overtime?
Well, I actually felt better all of a sudden because, like we said earlier, it was like, well, I know fair or not, I know this is 3-on-3, and I know that now we have just as good a chance as them. Like, it's just going to be somebody's going to fuck up a 2-on-1 going one way, and then it'll turn into a 2-on-1 going the other way, and they'll score, and it'll be heartbreak for someone. But it's almost even more fair in a way because it's just suddenly anyone's game again. Like it.
Yeah.
So I actually felt a little bit more positive after we made it to the end of regulation because I was like, well, now, we hadn't been doing shit at 5-on-5. So I was like, well, now I know both teams have the talent at 3-on-3. So,
right.
We could do this.
My main concern, obviously, with 3-on-3 is 97 because we've seen it how it's so easy we've seen it from the Oilers where they can just isolate him near the bench. Draisaitl gets the puck, he's behind the defense, and you can either hit him straight up or with a bank pass, and boom, he's gone. You're never going to catch him.
I also thought as soon as we lost the opening faceoff, I was like, okay, now we're fucked.
Yeah.
Because I just thought we would never get the puck back and they would score on like their second or third chance.
Yeah, and I like what you said about the transition thing, and that is so true. Like, I did say to my girlfriend when I was sitting there, I was like, if they win this game, it's going to be because the Canadians, like, missed the net or turned the puck over, and then it's just going to be a jailbreak the other way. Right. So, obviously, that's a pretty big double-edged sword because if you fuck it up at your end, it's going back the other way pretty quick, and everyone out there could motor. We saw both teams deploy their face-off ringers for sure. We had Trocheck out there and then right back off the ice, which love Vinny Trocheck, but that was a good call for sure.
And who did they did that for Canada with someone too? I can't remember who, but they had someone go take the draw and then come right back off the ice.
But yeah, back and forth overtime, couple good looks. I liked how dialed Hellebuck was in overtime. Like, even if it was just, an average level shot right into the glove, shut it down. Let's set this thing up off a draw and work our way there.
Getting some face-offs,
slow them down, stop their rhythm, stop their momentum. I really, really liked that. It kind of just seemed like in this game, I don't know if the Canadian players were gripping their sticks a little bit too tightly, but every now and then when they would set up the perfect pass, like the guy just couldn't handle it or needed to touch it or would hop off his stick.
I noticed that too.
Just seemed like that happened a little bit in overtime. I want to go through the game-winning moment sort of like inch by inch here because I think all these pieces are really important.
Yep.
So, McDavid into the U.S. zone, blows by one guy. Jack Hughes actually gets some body contact on him, going to the net, limits the scoring chance. Puck ends up behind the net.
Yep.
Jack grabs it to Rowensky. The two of them do the little chip play through the neutral zone. And then what I think is arguably the play of the Olympics is Zach Werenski goes down, not only beats Nathan MacKinnon to the puck, but out-muscles him for it.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple things I can't believe on that play. Number one is that when I'm looking at McDavid basically one-on-one with Jack Hughes, I was like, shit. Because, any forward, even any D-man, but any forward against McDavid, he's going to expose you so bad. And I don't know if you saw Jack's presser when he was talking about this play, but it's him and Matthews and Quinn, and they're all
a good presser.
They're all drinking beers.
Oh yeah, they were.
And Sullivan's next to them drinking a beer too. And they ask him like, "What were your thoughts when McDavid's coming at you?" And he was basically just like, I was just like, I'm just going to get in his way and do anything I can to just make him have to go like the hard way to the net and just make him run out of room. But he was like, I was so scared. He was like, I thought that he was about to just burn me and I was going to be on like the highlight reel of this fucking golden goal.
Right.
And then they even asked Sullivan, they're like, okay, now what were you thinking on the bench when you saw him going at Jack? And he was like, I was thinking he's got this. And they're like, no, you weren't, but okay.
No, it's
But yeah, that, and then like you said, the Werenski play to just body McKinnon off that puck is crazy. I mean, Nate Dogg doesn't get pushed around like that at all.
No,
And,
he really doesn't.
And then too, who was the I'm trying to think, who was the third forward on the ice that was right by for US that was right by Werenski?
I don't think it was Larks. I think he came off the bench.
Well, I can't remember who it was, but for whoever it was, he like almost goes for that puck right. After Werenski bumps McKinnon off. And I don't know, they must have either said something out loud, like, no, I got it, or maybe he just knew. But he's like going down to play the puck, and then all of a sudden he lifts his stick up and like lets Werenski handle it. And then Z sends it over and Jack scores, and the rest is history. But just everything that had to happen to work that play out. And even like in the zone, Werenski like wins that puck battle, barely chips it up. Makar tries to pinch in because he's thinking, if I can get there first, I can toss it to McDavid, and he's like right in front of the net by himself. And for Jack to just be able to poke that through just enough around Makar, and I know everybody's saying something about Makar's back check on that play. I don't know. I don't have much to say about that, I guess, but.
Yeah, I don't know if you can necessarily pin it all on that, but it's definitely a picture, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I think it was Larkin. I just looked at the video again.
Okay.
I think it was 21 out there. So,
yeah.
But yeah, unreal moment. Did you see the puck go in?
No.
Okay.
I did not, and I don't know if Kenny Albert did either, because he doesn't ever say he scores. He just says like, Werenski sends it over, and then he like kind of pauses for a second. It's not until Jack is like running back towards the group that he just goes, Jack Hughes wins it. I don't think anybody, it just like disappeared into the netting. And I think Kenny only knew because of like the reaction of the team and everything.
That's how I mean,
knew.
Same. I saw Werenski and I was like, oh my God, they did it. And then I'm like, I was just in pure shock. Of course, you go crazy, jumping up and down, screaming, of course. And then, I'm like, I swear to God, if there's like an offsides challenge.
That was my next thought too.
I'm like looking at them. I'm like waiting to see if like they're going to show Canada on the bench
at all.
Looking
at a fucking iPad.
All just like heads down and everything. And I was like, okay, I think they're going to be okay here.
Yeah.
So just, what goes through your head when that puck goes in? Like, if you have to put these emotions into words, like considering, like, we've been waiting our whole lives for that, considering just growing up with the movie Miracle, the heartbreak of 2010, the fact that they pulled the NHL players from the Olympics going into the 2018 Olympics. Like, what is that? What did that goal mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, I had chills everywhere. I will say I shed a tear or two. And it just I just couldn't believe it. Like, just for the next 10, 15 minutes, watching the rest of it unfold, watching the ceremony and everything. I think I said out loud to my friends, like, no less than 15 times. I think I just said, I can't believe we won. Yeah. I can't fucking believe we just won that game. Like, I was just in shock. And I still kind of am, honestly.
Same. It really has not worn off at all. I had a hard time going to sleep last night too, and I was exhausted from that day of just watching that game and like the emotional exhaustion. But I mean, like, I remember seeing Miracle in theaters, and that movie changed my life more than any other I've ever seen. Like, if I don't see that movie, we probably don't do this podcast right now, which is crazy to think about. But just like watching what it meant to those guys. Yeah. And then seeing what it meant to the parents was just incredible. Yeah. I mean, that was, you almost felt like you were over there with them. It was just such a, ecstatic feeling. And that's why I love, hockey's the best for that reason.
Yeah, I agree. And I can't, to go back to the, the thing of like, now somebody just has to go play the Philadelphia Flyers, like shit like that. I think it's even crazier to imagine like the bond they all just built together.
Yeah.
And then like they just got to go back to like playing against each other. Like there's no doubt that like with how many different guys are on that team and how many different NHL teams they play for, there's no doubt we're going to get at least one, maybe even 2, 3, or 4 postseason matchups where these guys are up against each other with guys that they just want a fucking gold medal with, you know? So
same divisions too.
Or like, who's to say that like the Penguins don't play like the Devils in the playoffs, and then you've literally got like Coach Sully, or sorry, not the Penguins. He's the Rangers coach, but
yeah,
you get my point though. They're still going to play in the regular season, and it's like Devils, like Jack Hughes, like as much respect as he has for him. Now he's like, I don't want you to fucking win. Like it's just, it's so odd to me to picture that dynamic and what the bonds that they just built. And now they're just going to have to go back to reality, I guess.
Back to work, right?
Yeah, back to
just
work.
Like everyone else.
Yep.
It's such an incredible event. I'm so glad we got to watch it. Just like a couple other people I want to shout out that I thought were like heroes on this team. Like obviously Hughes gets the winner, Werenski makes the play in the pass, Boldy gets him on the board first with an insane individual goal. Hellebuck stands on his head multiple times. The PK, again, just for not allowing a goal all tournament. Considering the teams you faced, that is just insane. I mean, that Sweden team was loaded. That Slovakia team, I want to give credit to them. They just ran out of steam, but they rode Slav, Dalibor, Dvorsky, and Marty Faravari as long as they could. That is a roster with 7 active NHL players, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And they played their hearts out, so credit to them.
They did.
Dylan Larkin had the tournament of his life.
Yes.
I love that finally, he was sort of putting his name out there and being like, yep, I'm like a legit star in this league, and you all have overlooked it for 10, 15 years.
No, I'm supposed to be here. I'm right where I'm supposed to be.
Absolutely. And then I think another just huge goal for USA Hockey that's going to get overlooked is the Quinn Hughes overtime winner against Sweden, because none of this happens without that.
We so easily could have just lost that game in OT, and then
for sure,
like Sweden probably ends up in the gold medal, or Finland does, and then Canada wins it like 5-2 or some shit. Like,
yeah,
we so could be living in that reality right now if not for that Quinn Hughes goal.
I totally agree. I also just, I know we've talked about Hellebuck a lot, but to hold that Canada roster to 1 goal, and not just Hellebuck, but that team defense as a whole, I mean, people were saying that on paper is arguably the greatest Canadian roster of all time.
Yeah, no, easily.
I know there's going to be some guys that come in and talk about the time that, Gretz and Lemieux played together, and I'll absolutely hear arguments for that. Yeah. But as a team, I think that's absolutely the most stacked roster I've ever seen.
Right.
Specifically, like that first power play, too, is just diabolical. Yeah. So just a great win altogether. I think this, it's such a huge team win. We heard this team talk about, we really gelled as a team. We were only together for 2 weeks, but we're so close. You nailed it. Like, they're just, the bonds they build are so tight. This team also stayed in the Olympic Village.
Yeah.
Canada moved to a 5-star hotel.
I know, because they're all business and they don't want... Right. Yeah, how'd that go for you?
So, I mean, we heard Quinn and Jack talking about it. They were like, we were roommates. The Kachucks were across the hall. They didn't close their door the entire time.
I love that, too. That's fucking cool.
Hanging out with other athletes in the dining hall. I think that was great. But, I, along with you, definitely shed a tear or two during this. But what really got me going was the kids coming on the ice.
Yes.
And the 13 jersey up there. I mean, it was amazing. A part of it was like a little bit hard for me to watch too, just because of how much like that guy means to us and USA Hockey as a whole. But I love the fact that they did that and brought them out there for the team picture.
I couldn't help but think that when I was watching that photo get taken with the Gaudreau children in it, I couldn't help but think we're going to be looking at this photo in like 20 years because Johnny Jr. is going to be like on Team USA or something. And they're going to be like, remember this moment? Yeah. Well, now here he is winning his own gold medal. Like that. I hope that fucking happens, man.
No, if like one or both of those kids end up playing Olympic hockey for the United States, it's going to be such a special moment for not only that family, but for everyone else involved. The boys. So I'm really glad that they celebrated this hard because, like, if you're going to celebrate hard for a win, I think this is the one you do it for.
Yeah.
You know, we talked a little bit about at the beginning about how the whole thing was you haven't won a gold since the Miracle. And, you know, a lot of the Canadian people like to say that didn't count because we weren't there and, you know, whatever. All right. We got one against you now. I don't want to hear it. And the guys just went for it in the locker room and went for it in the post-game presser. You know, I don't know whose idea it was to have Mike Tirico interview the Hughes brothers and Hellebuck at, like, you know, 4 hours post-game time, but, like, lights on, no one home. Like, my absolute favorite
Quinn was
part
like
of it,
slurring his words, being like, shout out to the troops for making this possible.
It's so funny. My favorite part is it's got to be like two things that happened like 5 seconds apart from each other. It's Quinn, like, while Jack is talking in that interview, just down the hatch with the Mick Ultra. And then I think it's either right before or right after, Jack goes, "Great play by Helly," and Quinn just turns to him as like, just totally mute, gives him the thumbs up, and just like, I mean, Hellebuck and Jack are basically holding him up at that point. It is fantastic.
Well,
to
it also
see.
felt like Hellebuck was like babysitting all of them or something because like when Quinn literally is saying that, like, thank you to the troops, Hellebuck literally just like takes the mic and he's like, okay. All right. No more talking for you because you sound insane.
Right. I love the fact that he had a gigantic largemouth bass on his mask.
Yeah.
That was incredible. Yeah. It's the most Midwest thing ever. But the boys walking around with like the giant glasses of white wine, I was like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
The jars of peanut butter and jelly in the locker room, like,
fuck yeah.
No, they were having a blast, and I'm glad they did. I don't know who on the PR team was responsible for following them around Milan all last night, but you've definitely earned your salary for the year, keeping up with the puppies for sure. But apparently tonight they're going to 11 in Miami, so when the winter storm that hits New York diverts your flight to Miami, I guess, you know, it was meant to be. So this kind of all made me think on my drive back home from Baltimore this morning. I was wondering, like, where do all these moments that happened in this Olympics stack up with like the biggest USA hockey moments of all time? Like, I think for everyone pretty much prior to these Olympics, it was the Mike Eruzione goal is number one. I think the Jack Hughes goal has to be number one now. I mean, to take down your arch rival to win the gold medal in overtime. Yeah. Like, I know it's 1980, but I feel like that one just has to edge it by just a little bit.
Especially it's best on best. Canada can't like I know they have a grocery list of different excuses they want to make, but they really don't have an excuse, like a valid excuse this time. I'm with you. I think it takes the cake.
And then so many others too, like, you know, the Megan Keller one. Like, if Jack Hughes is 1A, Megan Keller is 1B, or the other way around. Like, both of those sunk your arch rival to win a gold medal. I think the only reason I think people might say Jack carries a little bit more weight is not because it's men versus women's. It's because that one was 46 years in the making.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Just an unreal moment. It really made me think about, like, the Tony Amonte 1996 World Cup goal. That was a huge one. Zach Parise tying the game in 2010 in the last minute. John Carlson, TJ Oshie, Troy Terry, like Teddy Stiga, up and down this roster. USA Hockey as a whole, it's just been fantastic in what they've been able to produce and come together to do as an organization, like I've said before. But one other thing I loved from seeing the family celebrate was Jim Hughes and Keith Kachuk like almost like tackle each other and shake the living shit out of each other. And then it puts into perspective, it's like these families have known each other for 15 years now with the National Development Program. These kids have grown up together in this program. Yeah, they're just a
couple of hockey dads that they can still remember when they were just standing on a couple of bleachers at the local rink together watching their boys and dreaming about this the way that the actual players dream about it too. The parents dream about this shit too, so.
Yeah. Also pretty cool that when Keith played in the Olympics, it was also in Italy.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah. Any other touch-ons for the Olympics for just like other teams or players you were impressed by, whether it's from Finland, Sweden, Slovakia, Czechs that we haven't really touched on? Or
I mean, obviously, I think Slovakia should be really proud of themselves. I know they didn't take home any hardware, but just to be, I think Marty Ferravari said it. He said something like, I can't even believe that we made it to the Final Four. Like, I've never made it to, made it to the Final Four in any like big like tournament when I was younger, like ever. So that even that alone just means the world to me. And like, so they should be proud of themselves. I think Finland should be proud of themselves for getting bronze. I mean, if you look at how sick the U.S. roster is and how sick the Canadian roster is, if you're Finland, like obviously you still go into this wanting to win gold or silver or whatever, but like I think there's a part of you that's like, if we can even just be third best after those two juggernaut teams that are clearly better than us, like that's low-key gold for them in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's like about the best they could have realistically done without some kind of minor miracle occurring. So
no, I completely agree. Plus, they got a lot better as that tournament went on. It did not start good for them at all.
No, and they cheated death a couple of times too. They should have lost that game. They were down 2-0 and they scored twice in the third and then win it in OT or whatever. But yeah. So shout out to those other teams and shout out to Team Canada. You guys should be really proud of yourselves for winning the silver medal.
Yeah, no, seriously. There's what was the tweet that went out after the Canadian women won silver by Hockey Canada? It was silver shines just as bright as gold.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah, keep telling yourself that for sure. I mean, that's yeah, that might be true. I actually think I've heard the guy at my local pawn shop say that before too,
nice.
And so yeah, so it's got to be true.
Yeah, I think if I had like a team that's going to be disappointed from this tournament, like what the hell happened to Sweden? I know they gave the U.S. a run for their money, but like on paper, you're the third best roster coming into this tournament. You have all NHL players. It's something a lot of teams didn't.
It kind of just sucks that they ended up having to play us when they did.
Right.
But that's just a result that they could have scored a couple more goals or won one more game in the round robin. And I'm a little surprised they didn't. But
I think those coaching decisions and those lineup decisions are going to be looked at for a very long time.
I was going to say that what happened with their
thinking.
What happened with their coaching was insane, and I don't think anybody's happy about it. So,
like healthy scratching Philip Forsberg, Jesper Bratt not playing in the game against the U.S. until overtime.
Bunch of boneheaded decisions. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know what they were smoking over there, but I think that's got to be some fancy new substance or something. So, would you say these are the greatest Olympics you've ever seen or of all time? Or is there another one that stands out to you?
I mean, I probably would just because of how good the hockey was, and I basically only watched the hockey. So, I mean, I think I can confidently say it's the best hockey Olympics overall that I've ever seen.
Right. I think the only other one that would come close for me is the 2008 summer ones with Phelps going 8 for 8 with gold. But that's just because that's the most insane thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was absolutely crazy.
But to have men's and women's hockey get it done, I mean, and then Alyssa Liu winning the women's figure skating thing too. I mean, those are 3 of the biggest medals to be won at a Winter Olympics.
Yep.
So definitely something that I think the U.S. really crushed it this year on. And I thought the broadcast team did a pretty good job, the NBC and Peacock team that covered the hockey games.
I agree. I will say, like, for a long time, ever since Doc Emmerich has left, I've just been minorly unsatisfied at best with like all of the like main guys that do like big games in the NHL and stuff like that. None of them are like awful, but no one that I'm like, oh hell yeah,
it's
like
tough shoes to fill, man.
It is. It's less their fault and more so just it's no one's gonna be Doc. So it's been that way for a while. But I gotta give credit. I think Kenny Albert did a phenomenal job, and I've grown to like his voice the best out of like all of the other guys that do like big games in the NHL. I think he does a pretty good job, and I don't think that he's arrogant or cocky about it. And I think he also is pretty knowledgeable. Like he just actually knows the game pretty well. So I agree with you. Hats off to the whole crew. I thought Oshie has really come a long way in some of the commentary. I mean, they even had him as a color guy at a couple of the games. I thought he did a great job with that too, and having people like AJ Malesko on there too, and yeah, overall it was just a good broadcast team.
No, you nailed it. And really specifically, I think Kenny did a great job. And AJ, I think, is hands down my favorite color commentator for hockey games right now. Her analysis is so good. I mean, that Harvard education shows in every broadcast just how dialed and focused she is.
It's also sick having her specifically for Olympics because she can literally like relate to all of it. Like she's like, I remember when I was doing this. Like I remember when it felt like to do that. Like
and Jen Botterill.
Yeah,
I thought that was really
when
cool.
They had the two of them on there. That was
like
awesome.
You get the U.S. and the Canada side of things, and it's like, oh yeah, this is the one that you beat us in, and we lost to you in. So this is why that sucked, and that's why that was cool.
But didn't they also win a national championship together at Harvard?
Yeah,
which that's fucking awesome.
It's wild.
And I remember they said that on the broadcast, and Kenny was like, "No, that must have been fun." And they're like, yeah, it was.
Sure was, Ken.
It really was.
Absolutely. No, I thought they did a fantastic job. I know, like you said, they've gotten some heat in the last couple of years or something, but thought they did a great job. It was cool to get Edzo's point of view, too, just with him being, a Team USA guy since a teenager. So, anything else before we wrap up here?
Oh, mama, don't you cry.
Well said. Dream on, guys. We'll catch you in the next episode.